Hello, everyone. You're on SK Live. I'm your host, Indranil Basu. Today we have Justice Mudgal with us, the former Chief Justice of Punjab High Court and former judge with the Delhi High Court. Sir, so good to see you joining on a
It's my
Monday morning.
pleasure. It's my pleasure to be with you. Okay.
How have you been, sir?
As good as I can be at my age.
So it's really testing time, and it's scary the way people are talking about this coronavirus. It's not even hit the peak, and so many people are affected. It's quite scary the way it's happening, sir.
Yeah, but look, I think it is nearing the peak now, and perhaps it will start falling. Let's hope so.
Let's hope so. Absolutely,
Mhm.
sir. Your love for sport is quite known, and do you think that's the reason why the Apex Court
Hmm.
formed Mudgal Commission because they knew someone could do justice to the sport, and that was only Justice Mudgal.
No, I that's too tall a order for me. But I think my book, I think Justice Patnaik had read my book on sports law. So I think that's why he thought of me. I don't think he knew that I was a cricket fanatic. Okay, but he knew that I knew sports law. That's why. I
Okay.
think that could be the reason. But this question you have to ask him. Okay.
But your association with cricket football has been for a long time, isn't it? You always followed the sport. You obviously come with a lot of
Yeah.
back.
Look, I have followed DCM and Durant football in Delhi regularly. I have seen all test matches starting from the New Zealand's first tour of somewhere in the early 50s, you know.
Wow.
Then I've seen 1959, I think that was West Indies led by Alexander. I've seen Hall. I've seen what I thought was the fastest bowler, Ray Gilchrist.
Yeah.
I saw a 5 day match in Delhi. Of course, no seats because DDCA used to oversell tickets in the cheaper stand or in any stand. Anyway, so half the time standing, half the time at the mercy of somebody who took pity on me, a schoolboy, you know. But I tell you, I never seen a faster bowler than Gilchrist. I never saw a single ball of his till the wicketkeeper was giving it to the first slip, or it was hitting the stumps or the bat or the hand. He fractured the hands of Vijay Manchekar and Polly Umbriga in that test match. And I must tell you, Bode scored 100 in the first inning. In the second inning, he was on 90, somewhere in 90s. Then Manjrekar, with a cast on his arm, came to give him because no other batsman was left. And unfortunately, he got out at 96 because he was hitting out. Otherwise, it would have been a unique record. That was, I would say, the most powerful West Indies team, not Clive Lloyd's team, let me tell you. It had Kanai, it had Sobers, it had Collie Smith, and I don't know, Landscapes were not there. He came in 1974. Collie Smith used to bowl off spin, and he was the inventor of donkey drop. You heard of the name?
Yeah.
The ball used to balloon up and come down at the batsman, and many batsmen were flummoxed. So it was called donkey drop. And that I've seen Subhash Gupte bowl to Sobers and beat him by a yard because he played for a leg break and it was a googly, it went away. I mean, and that too on those days, Kotla's pitch. Kotla was a terrible wicket because they used to make such a wicket that would last 5 days,
Yeah.
maybe 20 days, So
Yeah.
no turn, nothing, no swing, nothing. And so that's how it was. So Delhi cricket, only cricket we got to saw international was test matches in every 2 3 days. If there were three test series, Delhi wouldn't get it, and rightly so. Bombay, Calcutta, Madras. These are the two. When
Okay.
Real Involved came to Delhi,
Yeah.
Australia did not come to. It came to India. Australia did not come to Delhi because they had Bombay, Calcutta, Madras. But I've seen Alan Davidson bowl. I've seen Bill Lawry, India winning that test match. And the most memorable moment was Doug Walters, who was rated the best batsman at that time.
Yeah.
He was facing Bishan Bedi, bowling from the football stadium end. And ball was pitched outside the off stump. He shouldered arms, and the ball came in with the arm, hit his middle stump, and you should have seen the bewildered look he had on his face when he was walking back. He was the world's best batsman at that time. And Bishan Medi bowling beautifully, and Prasanna. India won that test. You know?
This is the greatness of all the people who are coming on this show on SK Live. They remember every detail of a cricket match, and cricket match played in whites, and it's such a soothing sight, such a pleasant sight to see cricket being played in whites. It can't be a better sight, and you are one of those romantics of the game. Not only. So,
No,
but
look, you know, having seen so much of good Test cricket, you know,
yes,
I've seen Vipin Richards. Delhi had the second Test in the '74 series when
yes,
Clive Lloyd was leading the side. The first Test was at Bangalore, and Chandrasekhar got Vipin Richards out in both the innings, you know. And when it came to Delhi, he was about 4 or 5 runs. When he edged the ball, it went to Venkatragu and it slipped. And as was the stupid custom in those days, people like to throw up the ball after catching it. Unfortunately, he couldn't catch it. It dropped down and like that. And then Richards scored 190 something or something.
yeah.
And the balls were sailing well into the football stadium. The way he was expressing it was I haven't seen a more destructive batsman I've seen in the world. Then he could hit any ball for a four, you know. I mean, and he was very proud of being a West Indian, and nobody could take any liberties with him. And for a man who looked very stocky, he was a tiger in the field. One arm pick up and throw, and so fast. You couldn't believe. I mean, he was a stocky person, but was remarkably agile fielder. You know.
And probably one of the first ones to start those flat throws in cricket. Those
Ah,
short arm
right.
throws.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Those were the days, golden days. But sir, did you ever imagine that same Kotla you'll get to manage one day?
No, no, I had very unpleasant memories of watching cricket, but one cricket crazy people have to go. You
Yeah.
know, the I must tell you the this matches used to be uh, the season ticket for the cheapest stand was 10 rupees
Okay.
for all 5 days. And I was in modern school. In school, you got it for 8 rupees.
Okay.
Okay. And what was one of the best things about modern school was those who had a ticket were allowed to have 5 days off, from studies and could see the match, you know. That's how modern school encouraged sports, So, so some 8, 10 of us had bought those tickets and used to go and see. And you carry your lunch and those kind of things. But it was a great experience in those days. And finally, when things become slightly better, we went into 350 per day, 14 rupees season ticket, on the that was on the right side of the old scoreboard,
Yeah.
where we got slightly less crowded seat, but still got you had to go early in the morning and put your dari, your friends and all, and occupy those vantage seats. And today, the tragedy is in that stadium, the pavilion is at square leg. So players who are watching the match cannot see what's happening. They can only see runouts and stumps. Beyond that, nothing.
So those were
But
the good.
there were restrictions because we had this old stadium house, old clubhouse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing can be done. Either that had to be demolished or thing. But anyway, so
So, but how do you look back at managing DDCA those days, which you did so well?
I think it is much tougher than managing being the chairman of the governance committee of FIFA. Let me tell you, it's the most difficult organization in the world. And if somebody cures it, it should be given Bharat Ratna. That's all I can say. I don't deserve it. I don't deserve because I tried my level best, but it's a difficult organization. The structure is such. The voting, you see, the voters, most of them are not fans of cricket. They're fans of spectacles. And there are voting blocks which determine who wins. Those kind of a thing. You see, you'd be surprised that state level players could not be players till the Loda committee could not be members till the Loda committee reforms came about.
Absolutely, absolutely. But you managed it so well, and you showed what skills you need. And I remember there was a lot of this thing about BCCI money. The state associations are dependent solely on state on the BCCI money to run their affairs. But you
Hmm.
showed the entire cricket fraternity that an association can function on its own, from the money they make from matches, from the money
So
they get from
we
sponsors.
made, we made everything transparent. All canals, all tents, food, everything was tendered online. So, that way we also negotiated with the caterers to see that the rates are not extravagant. Of course, they had to pay. I mean, you see, the greatest thrill of watching cricket would be when you choose the best caterer, not because of his highest bid, but who gives food, good food at a reasonable rate. Because especially in a test match or a one-day match, the 7 hours, 7 hours, you must have good food and good this thing anyway, and water freely available.
Yes.
One thing I'm proud of, and I must tell you, I wish BCCI, some centers have done it. You see, test matches by the time I was in charge had audience of about 4,000, 3,000 in a stadium of 40,000 capacity. It was pathetic. There was no atmosphere of a test matches. You see test matches just now, there's no atmosphere because there's no crowd.
Yeah.
So uh, what I decided that we will have government school children, people of less affluent schools,
Yes.
you
Yes.
know, they will all be provided free seats in the east stand or whatever stand that is called the cheapest stand, the concrete blocks there. And also gave them a snack and a cold drink. And as a result, you might remember the South Africa test where Rahane scored hundreds in both innings. The atmosphere, the way the children cheered, even a dot ball for India,
Yeah.
the atmosphere, and because of seeing that atmosphere, those were only 8, 10,000, and the Delhi government arranged their transport to their credit, I must say.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, see, all those people, more people started coming, and on the weekends, it was 30,000, 35,000 people watching the test match in a place like Delhi, where there are only more serious cricket watchers are few, most are spectacle watchers. I mean, who are watching. I must tell you, while this T20 World Cup also was organized under me,
Yeah.
and while it was going on, I bought tickets for all my friends. I didn't take any complimentary.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So what I did was, I took only advantage I took was I took good seats over the side screen, and I must tell you how these match referees function. Jeff Crow got the first 10 rows covered with the pin balcony, which was well above this thing. And if Jeff Crow was umpiring in Lords, below the screen, people keep on walking from the member stand. He wouldn't do it there. He had to do it in Delhi. I could have picked a fight with him, but I didn't want the Delhi match to suffer. Otherwise, we would have done something. So I'm just giving you an example. I was surprised. This you have seen where the side screen in Delhi.
I know. I know.
uh,
It's absolutely all right. As
and
long as
above
long.
that, the balcony is above that. How can anybody disturb from there?
Yeah.
Anyway, he did this. I'm just giving you an example of how this happens. So that was it.
So this was the World T20, right? When Jeff Crow tried.
That yeah, yeah. He was no, maybe he was in South Africa test. I'm not. I think it was South Africa test. I'm not sure. I'm not
Okay.
sure. I think it was South Africa test. But the other thing is, I wish all centers adopt this in test matches. get a corporate to sponsor the food for the children. And I must tell you what happened. Students from my school, modern school, also wanted to come. They had to earn a bit of unpopularity. I said, no, only government schools. Modern school is a better off school. And so even though it was my school, I would have loved to have them. But I said, no, I can't do that. I can't change the stand I've adopted. Otherwise, I have to call all the affluent schools, give them a chance.
So probably you're the only administrator I've seen the 20 years
Hmm.
that I've been covering cricket in Delhi.
Hmm.
Only administrator who tried changing the culture of buying tickets.
Hmm.
you know, everyone wants a pass. No one talks about the ticket. Why can't you buy a ticket? I mean, if you can't afford, so
And the other thing, we
so
must
that
have we must have principles to allot seats officially to government bodies who help us function, like the telepolice, like the electricity, whichever is. Not that give ad hocism. Give to the head of the department. He can distribute to whoever he likes. You know. Then there should be no interference. That's my view. Otherwise, it becomes very difficult at the last minute. To officially, my view is be straightforward about it. Yes, okay. So many tickets to Delhi Police, so many tickets to MCD, so many tickets to fire. Officially, I mean, give them those complimentaries because they are. Look at the plight of the poor policeman. He's there from 8 in the morning, right till evening, and he gets some meal. Of course, the police provides meals and all. But you have to look at their side. We always discount the police, but you must see the circumstances they function in. So it's not
absolutely.
easy.
Yeah, and what I also liked was you empowered those officials who worked hard to stand in the in the when award ceremony used to happen after the post match award ceremonies. You
Yeah.
allowed empowered those people to stand, for honoring them for kind of service they did throughout the game, before the game. So that was quite a gesture, which
I
doesn't.
never went. I never went for any of the award ceremony. You know,
I know,
it's
I
a,
know.
no. I don't think I should use my position to advance myself. It's better that those who've been working for years together. They are the ones who should go. I had come only for a short span. Eventually, I said that's enough. I won't do it anymore.
And that's the reason you were picked, because you bring in so much of authenticity to whatever you did. Even the Mudgal commission, which worked under you, Mr. Nageshwar
Hmm.
Rao and Niloy Datta, they were part of the team, and the way you investigated, got to the bottom of the thing, that was quite incredible. The way you worked, isn't it, sir?
Look, it's called the Mudgal Committee too many times, but it was really a three-member committee. Justice Nageshwar Rao, who is now a judge, he had played cricket at the Ranji level for Andhra. You know,
Wow.
he was an excellent cricketer. So he and I were friends from the bar. It was wonderful to have him because his knowledge was absolutely much better than mine. And Niloy Datta also had cricket experience. So luckily, we three were on the same wavelength.
Yeah,
And things
that
went
was
on.
great. So 2013, when the spot fixing happened, we all thought cricket is going to really suffer, but cricket survived all those bad weathers. I mean, that was great. That's the greatness of this game.
Yeah, yeah, it is. The game is always bigger than any anomaly, any infraction, or any person. Please remember that. Persons will come and go, defaults will come, they will disappear, but cricket will never end. It's a great game. You know.
Yeah, yeah. So we know what all reforms Justice Lodha had
Hmm.
supported, suggested in the steps he gave it to BCCI and Supreme Court. So one of the most important aspect was legalizing betting.
Yes.
So yeah, and nothing has been done so far. It's an income to the exchequer also, but no one is
So
taking
that was,
your take.
Indranil, that was my recommendation. In the Mudgal Committee report,
Yeah,
all three of us recommended that betting should be legalized. There were reasons for it. One, all the money is black money,
yeah,
there's underhand betting.
yeah,
Second, the money goes to the underworld. They are
yeah,
controlling it.
yeah,
And thirdly, in the sense, you see, like FIFA has a I believe, a program, all the sport bodies, I believe, where you can check, you can come to know of suspicious betting. Supposing a team ranked 90 is playing a team ranked 15, and suddenly heavy betting is on team ranked 90, then some heckles would be raised. And my view is that, look, legalized betting, the government will earn enormous revenue. It will make their budget swell, you know. Also, you appoint a gaming commission control betting, but it's all white. So you tax it. The whole money comes into the mainstream, white money. I think it's a call that the government may take someday. It's a big call, but if they do take it, it will benefit sports, it will benefit the public, it will also benefit, of course, the government.
So you also
Enor-
suggest,
Enormously. The Law Commission also recommended this. Justice Loda recommended it. There are three recommendations of different persons.
Justice Mudgal recommended it.
That's okay. I was the first one to do so. Justice Loda did it, and then the
Yes,
Law Commission did it last. So anyway, but it's a call for the government to take. I wish the government takes that call. It will benefit the government and the sports body enormously. The money which comes in can be pumped in for sports or for any infrastructure or for creating, practice centers and all.
absolutely. So is which follows the next question. Is cricket much cleaner today what it was 6 7 years ago?
Look, there can be no sport where some anomaly does not happen, some infraction doesn't happen. It will always happen. But I do believe cricket, with so much scrutiny now and so many the safeguards put, is better, much, much better. You know, in the sense now there's a fear in the mind of a errant player if you thinking, look, the consequences are far too serious. You know,
Yeah,
that's right.
yeah, absolutely. But sir, what are the steps you suggested to end corruption in cricket? When
No, I think more than me, Justice Loda committee has gone deep into it because that is not mine.
yeah,
Not within, I mean, but I must say,
yeah,
whatever be the faults of BCCI, there may be some, it is still the best governed sports body in the country.
yeah,
And you cannot forget what Mr. Srinivasan did for Indian cricket. Please remember, Tamil Nadu has a beautifully organized system of various leagues, and and players started getting money with Mr. Srinivasan there. And the way he put India's stock up in the ICC, being a corporate magnate, he knew how to deal with all those people entrenched in ICC,
yeah.
where India was once upon a time not considered anything. And that's where we acquired our power. That's why everybody wants us to tour, because the money comes from us. And they're all trying to make sure that we get less and less of it. Therefore, he has made an enormous contribution to Indian cricket. It cannot be forgotten, you know.
But when you take this name called N. Srinivasan, a lot of people associate him for not doing enough that time when the spot fixing happened in 2013. People accuse him of like that, but he was a good administrator, as we all
Yeah,
know.
yeah. Look, that by that time the Supreme Court had gone into it, you know,
Yeah,
and so anyway, anything which he did was no. Forget what happened in that particular instance, but you have to. I mean, I would say among all the administrators which India has had in cricket, and BCCI still is the best governed sports body in the country. Others are nowhere near it. Really, Mr. Srinivasan did a huge amount for Indian cricket and raising the prestige of India in the international world. I mean, our clout got its due recognition, you
yeah.
know. Otherwise, we made the money for everybody and were treated as second-class citizens. Now, that is very important. If everybody now wants India to tour their country, it's not because they love the Indian team. Of course, now Indian team has had players because they get the money out of it too. You know.
And of course, giving that one-time benefit to all the former cricketers, the
Yeah,
widows. That was
yeah.
quite a gesture. He was the one who initiated that.
You have to give him credit. They getting the Indian cricket respect, getting cricketers their due. I mean, nobody thought of it earlier. And with so much money with BCCI, it was going in the right channels. And I only think where we need to bolster up is our stadiums and the facilities for people who visit the stadiums, who stand in line, the real cricket lover who buys the cheapest ticket and spend time. You must have food at reasonable rates. You must have water. You must have clean toilets. And you must have easy access. And you must have seat numbers in every stadium. One of the biggest DDCA we did it, numbered every seat, even the cheapest stands.
Yeah,
Every
yeah.
seat was numbered. So the chances of overselling and all become almost close to zero. You know.
So, but
And
I mean, cricket is what it is because of the fans. They made it popular, and we have to
of
take care
course,
of the fans at all.
I,
What are we doing today is catering to the fans. Why am I doing
look,
this show? Yeah,
yeah, correct. No, look, let me tell you, like I've seen matches at Lords, you
yeah,
know, get in and get out in 5 minutes, however
yes,
crowded it is. That's one. Second, of course, Delhi has a problem because it's next to a monument, and
yeah,
you can't do too many things there. But other stadiums also should have easy access, easy egress, and certainly things should not be a 5 rupee chips packet should not be selling at 25 or 30. You know, you give that person, choose the best person, fix the rates, and don't make profits. If TV gets you enough money, don't make try to give it to the highest bidder, who will obviously have to fix higher rates if he's given lakhs of rupees to get a contract. He's
yeah.
not doing it as a public service. He's a businessman. So yes, choose the best caterer in town. Do not charge him too much. Just ask him to give back the board 5 or 10% of his earnings, and rest. Fix the rates. Most important was fixing the rates. We did it in DDC. We took out the caterer and tell him that these are the show us your rate, and we see that they're reasonable. Of course, they're not as cheap as the market. It cannot be.
Yeah.
But I mean, you do that, make watching a pleasure. Not that real cricket lovers are showing poor persons at around from 7:30 onwards in the morning, matches at 9:30 or even 12 noon. And even then, all of them can't get in because the gates are suddenly closed. They have tickets. Now, who's going to take them to consumer court and all? Which person has the resources to do it? And these are the kind of things which cricket needs to reform. And one thing I'm very glad the other centers have come up, like Ranchi, and the other heartening thing of cricket is previously I remember when early 60s and all, teams used to be entirely from Bombay, some a little bit from
Delhi.
Madras. Delhi came in later, let me tell you. Except Vijay Mehra, I don't remember a name for a long, long time. You know, only he also played a couple of tests only. Then some from Madras and couple from Calcutta. That's all. The team, seven from Bombay, one or two from Calcutta. Yeah, and today India is beautifully represented in the Indian team. They come
Absolutely,
from all small towns, and you find look at Dhoni's rise. What a
absolutely.
contribution! What a contribution is made to Indian cricket. Just imagine a captain who's in his first series, T20 World Cup, the last over,
Yeah,
who to give? Harbhajan, the celebrated spinner, or Joginder Sharma, whom nobody knew, you know,
yeah.
and Misbah batting, you know. Now, 1 over, Harbhajan had 1 over left. If Misbah had hit another 4 or 6,
It was
Dhoni would have been crucified. He would have been crucified by Indian fans, Indian media, and I don't think he would have lasted as a captain. But look at the courage he had. A rookie captain in his first tour. I
Yeah,
mean, it was the first time he was captaining India.
yeah,
And he had the courage to give that ball based on the fact that Joginder Sharma doesn't have the pace. And Misbah may not be able to hit him. And what a gamble and what an enormous what did it do for Indian cricket T20? Remember, BCCI was not even thinking of sending a team to T20. They were against it,
yeah, yeah.
and now it's become their cash cow. Now it's become their cash cow. So good for and look to decry T20 is not right. You know, because it has given many youngsters from unknown who are unknown, given them fame. Maybe
Yes,
all do not make the Indian team, but today, if they are in their town, they will be recognized by everybody. And it's a great feeling to be that, and that has done. Also, the fielding has improved enormously because of T20. Also, the spinners have now learned to bowl. They're coming back in T20. Remember, the pacemen get battered very badly because of their pace.
yes,
So T20 has made contributions. It has also spoiled the batting technique of some, except some who adjust very nicely. Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, even Saurav Ganguly and Sachin Tendulkar, Rahul Dravid, Lakshman, they all adjusted. Of course, many of them did not play T20, but they played in the sense they certainly played one-day matches. They knew how to adjust from this test match to a one-day thing. A great player can do it in any format. But
absolutely.
youngsters, spinners not flighting, all that kind of a thing is the drawback of T20. But you have to live with it. You can't help it.
So, but you are someone who's always called spade a spade, and it was nice to hear that we're praising N. Srinivasan for what he got to
Yeah,
the as an administrator. But was he helpful to the Mudgal Commission when the inquiry
yeah, yeah.
was?
He did not he cooperated fully, let me tell you. There was no hindrance from BCCI at all, not the
Because
slightest.
yeah, because that's the important bit. And sir, those people keep talking about. I have done a lot of stories saying a lot of former bosses of BCCI wanted those names you have named in the commission to come out in public, which will never come out probably, right, sir?
Well, first, the Supreme Court has sealed it.
Yes,
So
yes.
I cannot
Of
violate the Supreme Court order. There may be very good reasons why they sealed it. But to think all 30, I can only tell you this. Don't think all 13 names there was something wrong. Only thing is the names are mentioned here and there, so their names are there. It's not that all 13,
yeah, corrupt.
beyond that.
Yes,
I won't say anything beyond that. That would be violating the order of the Supreme Court.
absolutely. Sir, your role as a governance head and the review committee of FIFA. Sir, can you tell us about how is it managing that? I mean, you've done the basics of
I just tell you, first let me define what the roles of governance committee and review committee are.
yes,
Governance committee consists of 9 to 10 members, out of which the majority are independent members who are not associated with any football association of the world. The rest four or five are representative of their respective federations. Now, the function of the governance committee is to lay down reforms. It's more theoretical, in the sense that, okay, this is what your regulation should be. And then the council has to accept it or reject it. That's the major role, human rights, players' rights, various things, integrity, this thing. 3 members of the governance committee form the review committee. Me, deputy chairman, who was the Bank of Finland's president, and one management person from Peru, Mr. Olli Rehn is from Finland, and the Peru person, the name will come back to me. Now, we formed the review committee. The review committee's function is to ensure that anybody contesting for any post or applying for any high post has to obtain an integrity clearance check from our committee. Even the president, Mr. Infantino, obtained it, a clearance check from us. So that is a function which is more direct, but governance is a function which is more theoretical, but it's a reform, continuing reform. And let me tell you, FIFA is one of the now role models of integrity, probity, and absolute openness, transparency. Let me tell you,
Absolutely.
from
Yeah.
and I'm proud to say that.
No, no,
I'm not saying it because
we are also proud that you are representing FIFA, and a lot of people, viewers, don't know that how in what capacity you're doing, and you're actually bringing so much of transparency, as you talked about, so much of credibility, so much of
I would say I'm bringing it in the sense that the FIFA reform process itself, after the incidents of 2015, from 16 these things started.
yeah,
I was deputy chairman for 1 year,
yeah.
and from 2017, I am 2016, I'm there. You know, so
So
my term is
how did it come?
expiring.
How
Huh?
did it this role, the FIFA role? This is quite a prestigious role. How did it come?
Look, I'd like to say it's, I'm very proud to be an Indian, that the
Yes,
Indian is there. I think, forget me, but it's an honor for our country
yes,
that they
absolutely.
recognize
Yeah,
the judge to be
yeah,
judge of this country to be of such value. They put him at one of the highest committees at the head. I mean, I feel honored. I feel proud of my country. I feel proud to be an Indian. You know. So, second, I like to say that in the sense that, could you repeat your question?
no,
You
I'm
asked some question.
no,
The
I'm saying, yeah. How did
FIFA
it
has
come?
gone. Oh, it came because you see, at first, I think because of the IPL Pro. Huh, incidentally, I was also the independent advisor to the governance review of ICC. I forgot to tell you that.
Okay, okay.
So, but uh, I think I was to be a member, but eventually they made me independent advisor. I don't know why. You know. So anyway, so because of that and my role in the IPL, so first the Asian Federation wanted me to be a member of their this governance reform committee. And let me tell you, Asia's standards are very high
Yeah.
in the sense. And so they then, FIFA asked for some names. So two, three names were sent from the governance committee there to them, and they chose me. Not saying the others were not good enough; they were, and they equally were good enough. But something I think because of my judicial background, perhaps FIFA chose me. So that's how it came about.
It's a great honor for us that someone who is the head of governance is talking to us on SK Live. So, but how do you see sports sort of doing in at the time of pandemic? So much of concern. There were reports that domestic cricket may not happen. Football
Look, it,
is happening.
it, it, is, it is hurting sports very badly. Let me tell you, among all the occupations, perhaps sport is the hardest hit. You know, because
Yes,
most of the sports are contact sports,
context.
except tennis, you might say. Tennis, badminton, the racket sports, table tennis. Even then, there is proximity,
Yeah,
between table tennis. But it's been very badly hit. And look, there is no atmosphere without the spectators. Please don't forget. You've been watching on TV the European Commission, this European matches, European Nations Cup. There's no atmosphere. Cricket, I mean, it's flat, absolutely.
and the players
When a
don't get
wicket,
that.
yeah, I mean, look, Virat Kohli somewhere had said in the Delhi test, he said it was so nice to see a full stadium and they gave us energy. And those
Absolutely.
children, girl
Absolutely.
students, the way they used to cheer every time an Indian touched the ball in the field, every time, it was remarkable. I mean, I'm very, very, those wonderful, I hope one Tendulkar, one Dravid, one Kumble, one Gavaskar comes out of that. And speaking of that, Gavaskar is one person who held India's head high, even in commentary and all. He never fails to criticize anything wrong going against India by the other nations.
Yeah.
No, and I admire him for that because he's extremely intelligent and articulate person. And I've seen him bat against all this against the fastest bowlers in the world, and his stance. I saw him bat against Michael Holding when he got his 29th or 30th under in Kotla. I mean, and as far as stance is concerned, I have never seen a more relaxed and a comfortable stance than Tony Gavaskar.
Yes. So
I mean,
balanced.
so balanced and so very perfect. I mean, not leaning this side, not leaning that side, and as if the bat was made for him. The way he
Yeah.
used to stand in the crease. That's a model for the youngsters. They should watch his videos, how to take a stance. He should take classes on the batting stance. It'll be wonderful for the batsman to learn technique. Really.
And when he would block the ball, you know, uh, everything would be behind the ball. His elbow, his bat, his gloves, his head, his shoulder, his body. To back it up.
Technically perfect. Technically perfect. And please remember, he didn't play with his team which had fast bowlers. You
Yeah.
know, India didn't have hardly had any fast bowlers. I mean, Solkar used to open innings, bowling from one end, maybe one medium pacer. And so the tailenders used to trouble us sometimes. But, and he faced the most fearsome pace attack in the world. I mean,
Amazing.
I've still not seen a pace attack as good as the West Indians. All the teams which I've seen, nobody has been as good as the devastating as those four fast bowlers. I think you saw in the World Cup when Garner was bowling,
Yeah.
every ball was going over the shoulder from the good length because he was 7 foot something, in
Yeah.
height. And to play against such bowlers
Yeah.
without flinching, without having a helmet,
Amazing.
remarkable.
Remarkable, really.
Very brave.
And what confidence you need to play that kind of that kind of pace attack without
Yeah,
head cover.
no, yeah, no, yeah. No, but Richards never had a helmet.
Yeah.
Please
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah. I mean,
So
that was
modern cricketers are lucky that they have helmets. You know.
absolutely, absolutely. So, is the 2022 World Cup safe? Can we say in 2020 that it will be safe?
I think it could be.
True.
I think it could be because I think the vaccine may come by the end of the year,
Yeah.
if not in middle of 21.
Yeah.
By end of 21, I think the whole world would get inoculated.
Absolutely.
2022 seems okay. It's in Qatar. It'll be beyond my tenure, but I'll watch as a football lover. It's not worry.
You probably will go
My
there and then
tour
by
ends in May 21.
May 21. You want to get an extension for the kind of work you've done? If they offer you, you
I,
might.
I'll take a call if and when. I don't know. If it is offered or when it is offered, I'll think about it.
So, but
I actually want to enjoy India now. I want to tour India, see all the spots, have the best food, on street, things like that. So I want to, the sense of India. Unfortunately, I have not been able to. I want to visit Banaras properly. I want to visit Amritsar. I went there only when I was chief justice. There's too much of VIP business going on,
okay,
and they said, don't go to this place. There is security, this and all. So I want to go there as a common citizen and enjoy. Then to go to Banaras. I want to go to Hampi. I haven't seen this. Madurai. There's so many places.
absolutely,
Kerala,
absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
Calcutta, the Sundarbans I'd like to see. Things like
Oh,
this, something.
yeah,
So I want to see, like, whatever you may say about chaos of Bombay, Delhi, and Calcutta, particularly Calcutta and Bombay, they have atmosphere. Delhi is a younger city, but those two cities have an atmosphere about them. There's some character in those cities. I mean, with all the chaos, all the traffic jams,
Yes.
there's a character in these cities. Delhi also has acquired it now. Delhi's, I mean, Delhi also has a different character and a very deep one. But Delhi is the oldest in that sense. So it's India is a great place, and I want
Absolutely.
to visit.
And
And
you know,
so,
we
yeah,
have the
please.
Himalayas, the sanctuaries, the ocean, the rivers, the mountains. Everything is
Yeah,
there.
everything is there. So it's time to make best use of that
Absolutely.
before your inning ends.
No, no, no. It's going to be quite very long. We're all confident about that. But sir, your best cricketer and your best footballer, who all will be in your top list of best cricketer?
Best footballer, definitely Diego Maradona,
Okay,
without doubt.
and best cricketer.
Best cricketer, I would have, I'd like to rank two or three because it's
Okay,
difficult in their era. Of course, Sunil Gavaskar comes to mind, you know.
okay,
Then, I would say within digits.
okay.
And current players or less than current players, Sachin Tendulkar. But you see, record must be judged against the quality of bowling you faced. Please remember this.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
earlier years there was no Zimbabwe, there was no Sri Lanka. Also, Sri Lanka came pretty late.
yeah,
So you all had to face tough teams.
yeah.
You know, so that is a criteria. It's very difficult to judge different ages. So I would say this spinners. I would certainly rate Vishen Bedi, Prasanna, and Kumble
Cool. Yeah.
the best.
And
Best
sir, if you you don't leave out the
cricketer, one unsung cricketer is Rahul Dravid.
absolutely.
I mean, he had his role in many victories of India. I mean, he has scored at crucial times, not in drawn matches, scoring hundreds.
Yeah,
He, he, his role is not enough, and his character, the way he conducts himself, he's a model.
yeah. So you must be having a
You
lot of stories. Your interaction with Rahul Dravid. You must be
We
having a
had
lot.
all the cricketers, so we formed our own impressions about them. So I would say, if you have to have a role model, it would be Rahul Dravid as a batsman, and in conducting himself, Anil Kumble as a bowler. Of course, Vishen Bedi and Prasanna were great spinners. Really, I mean, if they, and of course, Solkar as a fielder.
Yeah, and Kapil
I
Dev
have
is
to
a
think as a fielder. And Kapil Dev as an all-rounder.
yes. Even
India's best.
Sunil Gavaskar also recently said that he's the biggest cricketer we had in our
Hmm.
time, and it was
No,
really
his contribution in the sense as a batsman. Forget the bowling. First time India had an edge when Kapil Dev came on the scene. And I remember the Pakistan series, the fast, the way he harried the Pakistan batsmen in Delhi. When they were celebrated side of Zahir Abbas, Asif Iqbal, Miazad, all Imran Khan, and India won 2 love that series. So that's,
it's the best
that's
sporting moment of for India.
I would say the 1983 World Cup
Absolutely,
victory.
absolutely.
Simply for the simple reason that by 2011 we were forced to reckon with,
Yeah,
and 2007 also. Those both these victories of this, and since we are on sports, one sport which doesn't get its due is hockey. And can you imagine a person like Dhyan Chand not getting a Bharat Ratna?
yes, yes, yes.
And the first person who should have been awarded in sports should have been Dhyan Chand.
Absolutely. No two ways about
How
it.
many goals? What a player he was! You know, I mean, hockey deserves a little more than it gets, lot more.
Absolutely. No two ways about it. So you just touch. upon all the right subjects, and you spoke so well about everything. So much of clarity, and,
Controversies, huh?
and that's why Supreme Court and all the people who want to bring in credibility to the game, they involve you all the time. Be it BCCI, be it Supreme Court, be it DDCA, be it FIFA. That's why you're there. But we hope our standards of this thing also improves with time. And it was really pleasure having you on SK Lifestyle. It was
I, my tribute I would only give to the unsung Indian sportsmen in various sports who toils without reward, without facilities, just for the love of the sport. They are our heroes.
So thanks a
Yeah.
lot on that note. You gave
Pleasure
you
being
really
with you.
peak art. You're doing your stuff. Your lot of writing, lot of discussion. I've taken you away from it, and thanks a lot for coming on SK Live. It was pleasure
Thank you.
chatting with you, sir. Mudgal said it was. I expected this the interview to turn out to be like this, and it turned
Thank you
out to.
so much.
Thanks a
Thank you
lot.
so much.
Thank you so much.
Love, you are a very good interviewer. That's all I can say.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. See you soon. Stay
Because
safe.
you said nice things, because you said nice things about me. So, therefore,
But those are there. I mean, you can't deny it, can you? I mean,
okay,
those.
I believe them. Now that you say that, I believe them. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Take care, sir. Good day. Bye, sir.